let's talk iPhones. For what feels like forever, new iPhone launches have been, well, kind of predictable, right? Just small, incremental bumps. But the buzz around the iPhone 17? It feels totally different. So the big question we're digging into here is this the major leap forward we've all been waiting for?
And this quote from our source material really just says it all. We only get to see incremental upgrades. Not this time. It feels like a statement, right? It suggests Apple is finally breaking that pattern of tiny little tweaks, and that this year, something's really different.
And here's the kicker, the big twist in the story. It's the base model iPhone 17 that's supposedly the standout device this year. For once, the Pro models aren't stealing the entire show. We're hearing that for the first time in a long time, the standard iPhone is going to be genuine value for money, right from day one. So what's making it so special?
Okay, first up, and this is a big one, the display. You know, this has been a sore spot for the base models for years, but it looks like Apple has finally listened. And there it is. The base model is finally getting promotion. Look, going from a 60Hz screen to an adaptive 120Hz display is a massive deal. We're talking everything from just scrolling through your feeds to intense gaming, feeling buttery smooth and super responsive. This has to be the single most requested feature for the standard iPhone, and it's here. But hey, it doesn't stop there. The entire lineup is apparently getting a boost to 3000 nits peak brightness, which is just ridiculously bright. Perfect for using your phone in direct sunlight. On top of that, there's a new anti-reflective coating and a new ceramic shield that's supposedly 3 times more scratch-resistant. These aren't small tweaks. These are some serious upgrades. So, the screen is incredible, for sure. But what about the engine under the hood? Let's dive into the crazy performance we're hearing about for this new generation. Okay, get ready for this, because this claim from the source is just wild. The new A19 Pro chip is apparently so powerful that its benchmark scores are beating some M2 MacBook models. Let that sink in. We're talking laptop-class performance. In your pocket. That's a whole new ballgame for what a phone can do. And if you want a number to back that up, the Geekbench single-core score is supposedly smashing past the 4,000 mark. Now, if you're a tech nerd who follows this stuff, you know that number is just eye-watering. For everyone else, it just means ridiculously fast performance in everything you do, from opening an app to editing a massive video file. And it looks like they're future-proofing the other specs, too. The base model is now said to start with 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of storage, so long 128. Meanwhile, the Pro models are jumping to a crazy 12 gigs of RAM. This isn't just about making today's apps run well. This is about being ready for whatever's coming down the pipeline. So with all that power, how do you keep it from getting hot? Well, the Pro models are apparently getting a vapor cooling chamber. All you need to know is that this is a fancy cooling system that stops the phone from overheating when you're doing something intense, like a heavy gaming session. It basically means that super fast A19 Pro chip can stay super fast for way longer.
All right, let's switch gears and talk cameras. For a while now, the story has kind of been that iPhones are the absolute kings of video. But maybe, just maybe, they've been a little behind on still photos. Well, if our source material is right, that whole story is about to get a major rewrite.
It looks like they're tackling 2 of the biggest complaints head on. First, huge improvements in low-light photos. We're talking way clearer and brighter shots when it's dark. And second, skin tones are apparently much more accurate and natural-looking. Big wins on both fronts.
And check this out, especially on the Pro Max model. The zoom is getting wild. It supposedly gets an 8x lossless zoom. So how does it do that? Well, it takes a 4x optical zoom and then uses some really smart software for another 4x hybrid zoom on top of it. The end result is supposed to be a super clear, detailed 8x photo that looks like you shot it with a pure optical lens. Pretty cool.
And the hardware itself is getting a big upgrade across the entire lineup. We're hearing every camera, even the ultra-wide, is now a 48-megapixel fusion sensor. The selfie camera gets a bump to a larger 18-megapixel sensor. Every single model can shoot in 4K 60 Dolby Vision, and the Pro models can even do 4K at 120 frames per second. That is some serious firepower. Okay, so let's recap. We've got a way better display, literally laptop-level performance, and a completely overhauled camera system. So, what does this all add up to? What's the verdict on the value here? Well, here's another piece of that value puzzle, and it's another one we've been waiting for: faster charging. The word is the iPhone 17 will support 40-watt wired and 25-watt wireless charging. That means you can juice up to 50% battery in something like 20 minutes. That's a real practical upgrade you'll feel every single day. So that brings us back to the ultimate question. After all these years of tiny steps, does this giant leap in features finally make the upgrade totally worth it, especially for that base model? And according to our source material, the answer is a big, resounding yes. When you add it all up, the incredible new display, that monster chip, the extra storage, the new cameras, it makes the iPhone 17, and again, especially that base model, a real value for your money right from launch day. So the main takeaway here seems to be that this phone is really built to last. These aren't just one-off gimmicks. They're huge foundational improvements. You put together the better screen, all that extra power, and the upgraded cameras, and you've got a standard iPhone that's a super compelling package. It really does sound like it's positioned to be the perfect phone for most people. But all of this leaves us with one really interesting question. In a world where every single tech company is screaming AI from the rooftops, there's been almost no mention of it here. With all this insane new power under the hood, it really feels like Apple is setting the stage for something big. They're future-proofing the hardware. The only question is, for what?